So, Mr. Biden, as we were saying before, how well do you think you would do on an IQ test?
I don't even know why that keeps coming up on the. I already read the sign at the office, and it starts with the I, and it goes down. I don't know why this is an issue.
Sir, that is a vision test for an
Let me ask you this.
optometrist.
Let me ask you this, Don. Did you take like a gay test? Like, no, people just know. So it's like the same for
Mr.
me.
Biden, are you referring that I'm a homosexual?
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. It's the thing. I'm running for Senate.
Sir, this is for the presidency of the United States.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you want me to debate against Eisenhower, I'll do it right here and now. I'm ready.
Well, that's all the time we have for you, Mr. Biden. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you when you get back from the Home Health Agency. And I'm Steve.
I'm Tom.
And this is Demagogue News with things you need to know about episode 46, the big 4-6. We got explosions, we got implosions, we got Democratic reproach. I don't know, that's not a word. I tried to rhyme.
Yeah,
it
you're
didn't
trying
work.
to be Snoop Dogg out here.
Yeah, I can't drop bars. Can't do it. But biggest story of the day, Joe Biden's still crazy.
I wouldn't say
Definitely not the biggest
crazy,
story of the day.
but it's definitely a.
He's like that. Remember that skiing game on Windows 98 when you're going downhill? He's the little skier.
Kind of,
And
yeah.
he's gonna be eaten by this Yeti called Donald Trump once it gets to the bottom.
It's just kind of sad watching, like, it's like Joe Biden is tap dancing on Jello while he's having these conversations. It's just like it's very hard for him to keep it like coherent and like. Do you want to talk about the interview a little bit that he did with Don Lemon?
Yeah, was that Don? That wasn't Don Lemon.
No, it
specifically.
wasn't. No.
No, but it was a MSNBC anchor asking him a question about the fact that Donald Trump has used that his mental faculties might not be up to par, and how he is taking that idea that he's not, he's going a little too senile.
Yeah.
And his answer was incredible.
It was, yes, like, do they require you to take a cocaine test? First of all, like, you imagine Donald Trump saying that to a black, like, news anchor?
Excuse me, Donald Lemon, you're ruining the name, honestly. They give you a marijuana test because I could smell that reefer from 10 feet away, Mr. Lemon. Okay? Maybe we should call you Mr. OG Lemon. OG
Like,
Kush. That'd be impossible.
It's
if
just
you asked
hilarious
that.
to me that he asked him, like, are you required to take a cocaine
What if he
test?
said,
Like,
okay, what if he went back in time like the mid 80s and he asked this black anchor, did you take a crack test? Oh God! Like what? Crack and cocaine ain't that far off from each other. Come on. So that's the first answer, and then he goes to say, "No, he hasn't." And I could see that even though he's playing the politician, like the hamster is running as fast as possible. I could see he's trying.
the effort's there.
He's trying, and it's not working. But he has the like, hey, yeah, I'm a politician. Oh man,
Joe tries to play it off as a joke, and then he says, like, you're trying to question my physical fitness. He says
my physical and mental fat.
Okay.
Okay.
It takes a minute.
I saw 10 seconds of working through the word fitness. It was supposed to be faculties. It was supposed to be faculties.
Yeah, and then it turned into fitness.
It turned fitness. He couldn't figure out the pronunciation.
That gives you a lot of hope in the nominee.
When he's talking to Vladimir Putin, I'm sure that Putin would be like, "Oh yeah, this is
Vladdy boy would love that. Are you kidding me?
Strong man, strong president. I'm sure that's exactly how it would go.
Yeah,
I mean, this is like the reality of this is still going on. Like this is still like of all the 365 million people in the United States. Let's call half of them Democrats.
But that's still a lot of people.
Well, whatever it is.
A lot of people.
115 million people, quote unquote, identify as Democrat, right? Half and half. And this is the one we have? That one? That's the one you're choosing? You're going to die on that sword, guys?
Let's say that, like, the younger talent pool in the Democratic Party isn't eligible yet. Like the AOC.
No, that's correct. They're not 35 yet.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar can't be president.
Yeah, that's fair.
She can't be president. But there's still plenty of 35 plus Democrats that would be much better than Joe Biden.
Tulsi Gabbard.
We both will vote for Tulsi Gabbard if she was it.
Yeah,
If only.
But yeah, Joe Biden is it's like watching Mr. Magoo run for president. It's like
It's rough. It's rough.
and that also, this is the most important VP nominee pick ever in the history of ever.
Remember in 2008 when it's like, oh, you're not voting for John McCain,
Mhm.
you're voting for Sarah Palin, and John McCain still had plenty of fight left in him.
Oh yeah, he was still mentally there.
He was
though.
still on point. I mean, he died a couple years ago. Yeah, it's not a thing. This man has severe he has
dementia.
He has the onset of dementia.
Definitely.
It is absolutely there. And I'm surprised. Oh man, how funny would it be if Trump gets like an executive order to push that anybody who runs as a president must go through like psychiatric testing?
That'd be interesting. But at the same time, who's running the tests? That's like
Who
opens
watches
up a
the
whole,
Watchmen?
Yeah, opens up an entire like new fraudulent sector of the government because you could kneecap your opponent by like diagnosing
he's retarded.
them.
You know, he's
Bipolar, schizophrenic.
nope,
yeah,
can't be
do
president. You're gonna give him the nuclear launch codes? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Speaking of fraudulent activities, Nevada may be fraudulently running this election system.
Yeah, Donnie Boy is not happy with the actions of our
No,
governor.
what did Sisolak do recently?
Sisolak mandated that the state of Nevada will exclusively have mail-in ballots due to COVID-19.
Now, I don't know about exclusive. I
thought it was
do
exclusive.
believe I read that there will be polling places.
Where?
There will be at least the only thing I think that is good is that because they burning the budget, because to mail every person a ballot is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. And there's already money in the budget for the election cycle of paying for the place and the machines. But it did say that there has to be one in each small city that isn't in Washoe or Clark. And then Clark County is going to have like 100 polling places on November 3rd. So it will also be there, the ability to vote in person. But they're going to mail every, person that can vote a ballot this year, which God knows what's going to happen with that.
I mean, coming from what state budget? There's no casino money here.
Oh, they're just borrowing from tomorrow.
Yeah.
There has to be.
It's the American way.
Well, they could they could defund the police. That's always a good idea. In 2020, just defund the police.
If we lived in California, yes, but luckily for us, Nevada is centrist enough that defund the police really isn't a big thing out here.
Yeah, no, we're not hearing a lot because we luckily also have a very spick and span, very good cross your I's and dot your T's, good police force in
We do.
Las Vegas.
Metro is, they're
Like-
on the mark.
Like
They're
number 2 in
great.
the nation for internal affairs, quality control, all this good stuff. But yeah, mail-in ballots. I think that we already found multiple times where there's been fraud with mail-in ballots.
Yeah, state of New York alone, because there was 10 times more mail-in ballots for the primaries this year as opposed to 2 years ago. Any mail-in ballot that doesn't have a date on it is considered
Like void.
Yeah, it's void. So these were rushed out, and thousands upon thousands of these ballots that people voted on were just cast aside because they didn't have the date on it, so it wasn't official.
Because they didn't write the date on it?
Yes, because the post office didn't put the date on it.
Oh, not the person didn't write it, but the post office forgot to print
Yes.
or have it on the certified mail, like, May 12th, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want to say it's Representative Patel from New York. Doesn't even know if he won his primary or not because they're still counting the votes.
And it's been months.
Yeah, it happened in June.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been
We're at a
months.
month and a half now. Jesus.
Yeah, it's just rife. It's going to be a colossal shit show if we do it for the presidential election.
Because you're supposed to know in one day. So there's 2 weeks of early voting. Then there's the day where unfortunately, which is not smart, people need to vote early.
I could see them extending it to a month of early voting federally, but
Just
that
make the entirety of October
that
vote
opens up a whole new because like the election, you're supposed to have it down to November so that you see everything that comes out. Like if you early vote that early, the game could easily change. We live in 2020. Like shit changes on a dime.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed for anything.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because what if something happens crazy in the middle of October? I want to change my vote.
Yeah.
You got to do it quickly.
Like that's
because I need to make my decision and then it's done. I can't be able to. Do I get to change my vote? No, it has to be done.
I mean, would they have released? Okay, let's rewind to like 2016. If we had done mail-in ballots then, don't you think that like the Democratic Party possibly wouldn't have released "Grab Her by the Pussy"?
Until
Yeah, because they did that 2 weeks before the election.
They did that at that point. I thought it was way earlier than that.
It was like 2
the
weeks to a
call.
month. Like it was 1 month before, because I was at a campaign event where Joe Heck and Crescent Hardy with Mitt Romney there. By the way, I met Mitt Romney that day. Disavowed Trump because of those comments.
Because of the bus comments inside the bus.
Yep.
Wow. Such strategy, such political strategy and guile.
It's all a game.
Yeah. So you have that entire month, and everyone did it early, like let's say October 2nd, 3rd, and it ends November 3rd, a whole month. Yeah, that's too long. But we also can't get in close spaces. I think there should be. Isn't it that on October 3rd you have the right to leave work to vote?
Yes.
Isn't that a right?
Yeah, it is a right.
Right. It'd be a little strange to categorize people by these blocks that they make, but they should do how they gerrymander and create voting districts of their required days to vote. So everyone in my little town here has to vote on October 14th to the 18th.
That's a good system.
So you get 4
I would
days.
Get down with that.
And obviously in Las Vegas, this is a lot more things, but every single zip code has their 3 days, and maybe they overlap. So 89052 and 89105 and 89014. They the 13th to the 20th, and then they should do that because we need to get people to be able to make an answer if we're gonna get any type of actual truth out of this or representation. I don't know.
I don't know anything anymore.
I don't know.
But yeah, mail-in ballots, that would just it's a shit system.
It comes down to, and it's one thing that I don't understand why people don't see, is it about the chain, breaking the chain of ownership. Who holds such an item? It's not the chain of ownership, but it's like the chain of command. Like when you go to a voting booth, you click it, and then it prints out at the very end. It prints out what you answered, so it's permanent on a permanent thing, and then it sends it. And then there's a backup, which is that printout. So for vote number 5,826 are my votes, and then maybe digitally there's a mistake, they can look back at it and see that, okay, it's that. But if you break the chain of ownership and it's inside the post service, anybody can do that. There was just even a thing that someone at the post office, when they saw it was a Trump house, they held the voting ballot. They didn't give them a voting ballot.
That's messed up.
Because he was a post office worker.
That's a federal crime.
He's facing federal charges.
Well,
but that happens.
Because he's tampering with someone's mail.
He not only is tampering with mail, but he's messing up voting in election. That's also a felony. But those people exist. So how does that even work? How do you stop that from happening?
It's all messed up. It's too many cogs in the machine, if you will.
Yeah, it's too complicated. It has to be as simple. Yeah, KISS. Keep it stupid simple. Got to be as simple as possible. Because if it gets out of hand, then what's true? There's a recount in Florida, and now George W. Bush won.
Yeah. And even though it's definitely, Senator Chuck Schumer is a big advocate of mail-in voting, but that being said, I think it's kind of a political misstep on their end. They could tamper with stuff, but it gives Trump of an excuse. Like the whole thing they've been spreading around of, Trump not stepping down.
Oh, that's my favorite.
What if he doesn't, though? Because now he has something to stand on.
It's an illegal election.
You're kind of giving him firepower.
Or are they hoping that, if we give this to him and he takes the bait and says that it's fraudulent, and then he doesn't step down, then he's truly the enemy that we believe he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's no way. Let's say he loses in a landslide because of maybe fraudulent blah, 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 blah. Do you think he's not going to step down on the 29th of January?
I mean, I think it's highly improbable that he would not step aside.
Right. Because he doesn't like Maduro, and that's the whole game of what happened to him in Venezuela. And I don't want to live in Venezuela.
Neither do I. It's, not a good place.
Not a good place.
It's cheap real estate.
It's free real estate.
But, that's our problems here, which is nothing compared to your problems if you live in Beirut.
Yeah, Lebanon. I'm sure it's not news to anybody because it's been all over social media, but something happened in the port of Beirut that exploded quite catastrophically, I could say.
It's horrific. It sent shockwaves throughout the capital.
Yeah, it hit Cyprus, which was 120 miles away, an island.
Yeah.
Felt it. And like many things nowadays, there is a lot of footage on it, and it is startling what they're calling it. They're calling it a fireworks explosion. That there was a cache of fireworks that went up.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. That was not fireworks.
Mm.
Because about 6 years ago, there was a fireworks explosion in China that was well documented, and that wasn't this.
No, this was a military-grade explosive.
This was an instant explosion. There was a massive shockwave. And what I learned is that Beirut is a very, at least in this area, very first world country. High rises.
I've heard actually really good things about Beirut.
Yeah.
It's the Paris of the East.
I've heard that Lebanon's in a monetary crisis, that they don't have enough physical paper bills, and they're
They're
in a massive economic slump, so they can't afford to have this happen.
They've the prime minister immediately asked for international aid because they have nothing.
They have done nothing, and they immediately. I think I can imagine it's probably akin to martial law, but he's basically shut down the country for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
2 week state of emergency.
State of emergency.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna try and find every single dollar that they can to do something about this, because I think it's a diameter of 2 or 3 kilometers. It's like a mile and a half, all gone. Just boom, over. It's instant gone. All the buildings, all these high rises, just blown out. The shockwave just went right through them, destroyed everything. It's crazy.
It is.
And the explosion was on, I assume, a man-made kind of harbor or wharf.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a massive hole there now, filled with water.
Jesus, it's like an asteroid hit.
No, it's like a fucking massive explosion happened, and there was a fucking excavated all this stuff. And that's gonna be the new interesting thing, because what actually happened there?
Yeah, because there's definitely there's
The tinfoil hats.
speculation that Hezbollah had missiles underneath that facility.
Right, because Lebanon has not always been friends with Israel.
No, and we just talked about how Lebanon is not doing well financially
At all.
Hezbollah is much better funded and well organized than the Lebanese military. To give you an idea,
government.
yeah. How they get that Iranian
this
cash
quasi-terrorist organization / government agency of Hezbollah. Yeah, so that maybe they were paying the country of Lebanon to hold things for them.
Or whoever owned that facility.
Maybe
probably
they
had ties
worked.
to Hezbollah.
Maybe.
But regardless, what is concrete is the damage that left. Which the last time I checked, it was 74, 75 dead. 120,000 displaced, homeless people.
Yeah, I think the number now is a confirmed 300 dead.
Holy shit.
200 dead, something like that, and 7,000 severely injured. There was a satellite picture, and this hospital, apparently it was a large hospital, quite a ways away. It's pretty decent. I mean, if you walk there, it would take you, quite a time to get from the port to the hospital.
Yeah.
That hospital's gone.
Damn.
Destroyed. So, the hospital's inoperable. Every other hospital in Beirut was instantly just overwhelmed, let alone the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also still happening.
Because now what's going to happen? Are they going to be in holding facilities where it's a bunch of people all around each other?
We saw in Las Vegas when it came to the homeless option, when it came to maintaining social distancing between non-home owning people. Yeah, now 100,000 people are without food, water, shelter.
I mean, it makes me think of
they already didn't have any money.
Yeah, they were already in a rough spot, and now again, what are you gonna do? Put them in a holding facility? Because it makes me think of Hurricane Katrina back in 2005 when people from New Orleans were
all in that
arena in Houston.
Yeah, 25,000 just inside the grounds. Got their own little spot, cot set up FEMA style.
Imagine if we had COVID back then.
That
it'd be rife.
Fly.
Yeah,
that couldn't fly. And if it did fly, then everyone is at risk, and all these other questions and things arise because of it.
Unfortunately, that's what Lebanon has on their hands right
now. Yeah, right now they have this big fucking problem of what do you do with all these people? Because you gotta help them. You don't not help them.
Yeah, it's definitely worse to not do nothing than to have a strategy to get things underway, which at least the 2-week state of emergency kind of shuts things down so you can streamline your approach to
stop driving, get vehicles and any types of industry. The military is probably boots on the ground helping people, and they're still pulling people out of the wreckage of buildings and things.
Yeah, but if you're hurting right now economically, this could be, and this is kind of messed up, and now I'm getting tinfoily here, Hezbollah might fill in the void.
Oh, this is the second caliphate coming in to invade Lebanon.
even like just Hezbollah like taking an even bigger role in Lebanon because like they have more money than the Lebanese government. So this is a good
So-
position for them to leverage, help people out, get that
Influence.
yeah. Hey, remember who helped you?
So a Lebanese spring, huh?
The rest of the Middle East got it.
That is, you're not wrong. Yeah, and we had a big old second little, interaction with the Middle East with ISIS. So is this their new? Is this ISIS? Is there another terrorist group that's going to take claim to this?
I mean, Hezbollah has a more solid foundation than ISIS did. So maybe.
Yeah, but who's the real asshole in the Middle East right now?
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, because although no one likes to talk about it, Trump did all these things under his presidency, removed the entire
he
caliphate
destroyed ISIS.
of ISIS.
Like-
it was almost the entirety of Syria. Now it's like just small pockets of resistance. So what's this now? They destroyed the entire half of the marina of the port, which is probably a big economic boost to Lebanon. Is their port,
Yeah.
industry shipping, probably a lot of tax money that goes through that. They've lost all tourism now. No one's gonna be flying to vacation in Beirut. That's not happening.
Yeah, for a while.
Fuck that. I ain't going there. If I was,
Man, I don't know. Show me the airfares. I'll reconsider. But
if they even let Americans in, let's be honest.
Yeah, they probably don't. We definitely are not done. Like, this just happened, so we are definitely not done seeing the ripple effects.
Yeah, this is going to be a thing for a while. But, of course, the 24-hour news cycle, we're going to forget in a week, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll forget until, what these ripple effects do, whatever they snowball into, then when it turns into an avalanche, we'll hear about it again.
Oh, when we're too late, we could have fixed
Yep.
it and avoided it, and now it's too late.
That's how things work.
I think the sad thing that just happened that everyone kind of fucking slept on is that Elon finally did something with fucking SpaceX.
Oh, what'd he do?
The Artemis program flew out, went to the space station, changed people over, and brought people back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you hear anything about it?
No, nothing.
No. They just landed in the ocean, like Apollo style. They picked them up, blah, 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 blah. They're all good. Mission went great. We went to fucking space again ever since the Columbia spacecraft has been, defunct.
Mm-hmm.
Elon came up with SpaceX, got the spaceship. It worked, and we're not even talking about it. Why is that? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's really cool.
Our man freaking the based Korean that was a Navy SEAL, a Harvard graduate doctor, and now an astronaut. I believe he was on there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like awesome things happened, and we didn't even hear about it. It's great.
That's
like
kind of depressing.
So I'm only gonna assume that this Beirut jazz will be gone in a week and a half.
Yeah, that's how it works.
It's crazy because I
unfortunately.
imagine as the capital of Lebanon, that's not going to be old news for many people's rest of their lives.
Mhm.
But the rest of the world, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. What has kept resurfacing though is the saga of George Floyd. So the
George
body
Floyd.
cam footage came out 2 days ago.
And that's been everyone's talk of the town now
Yeah.
because something happened in May 25th that's been on the whole talking points for everybody in the last 2 months.
If anything, to me, the body cam still it creates more questions than gives answers to.
Yeah, I would say so.
So I still don't know. Like, I heard it was for a counterfeit $20 bill that the cops were called on Floyd.
Right.
Regardless, so on the body cam, there's multiple people in the vehicle, which I had never heard before.
Oh, with George Floyd as
Yes.
he's being detained.
Mm-hmm. So he was pulled over.
Where are those people at?
Quiet, I guess.
Wouldn't you
I don't
have
know.
them on the news?
Yeah.
I was in the car when
Mhm.
he was arrested.
Yeah, never heard of that
If
before.
I was an NBC anchor, I'm like, hey, get that fucking asshole. I want to get him on the news. Let's
Yeah.
talk to that guy.
So, they get the car. Floyd is the only one still in the vehicle. They ask the other people to get out.
Okay.
Obviously, they're asking, what did he do? Why are you
Why
doing
is
this?
happening? Yeah.
Floyd immediately seems kind of like erratic, paranoid. The cop repeatedly asks him to put his hands where he can see them. When Floyd doesn't comply, he isn't being aggressive. He isn't doing anything else, but the cop pulls a gun on him.
For non-compliance.
Yeah, and says, like, put your hands where I can see them right now. They eventually pull, not too forcefully, but they get, like, one of the officers gets his, hand around Floyd's wrist and sort of, like, pulls him out of the vehicle. It's not a complete toss out, but all throughout this, during the cuffing, during the walking him to the police vehicle, Floyd is, saying, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. he doesn't want to go into the cop car. He says he's claustrophobic. He says, I'm not trying to win. I'm not like, he's freaking out.
Freaking out.
Which supposedly the autopsy revealed that he was high on fentanyl during all of this.
Yeah, a couple drugs. Yeah, it's interesting because I think the one thing that I haven't heard, which I remember when I was in paramedic school, a lifetime ago, one of the specific things they would say is when someone's going through a crazy medical event, because it was found that he also had a heart attack, and that may have actually been the reason why he died on the ground, was not asphyxiation, but a heart attack. Is that when someone is going through something like that, a heart attack, a stroke, an aneurysm, the first thing that they might get to know that something is wrong is an impending sense of doom. Like they're about to die. So the fact that he says, I'm about to die, and then he had a heart attack, that adds up.
It does. Unfortunately, though, there's 2 separate autopsies with 2 separate conclusions.
Exactly, which doesn't happen in science. So who's right and who's not? Are they both right? Yeah, that makes it even worse.
So again, it's more questions than answers after that.
Yeah, it's going to be... Obviously, the LA riots blew up because they quitted these 12 officers who beat the piss out of Rodney King after he may or may not have been speeding. Now this is going to happen. Derek Chauvin and his associates are all been charged. I think Derek Chauvin, did he post bail?
I don't think he did, no.
No, some of the other guys did. But if he's going to be charged with second-degree murder, the definitions of second-degree murder is not what happened. And I don't know where they're going to find a jury that's not biased.
Yeah. I mean, plus you have to prove intent during all of this.
Yeah. Like there's so many things, but the question is like, same thing with OJ. There was no everyone who in the OJ case already had their decision before the trial happened.
Yeah, it's true. And today,
that's even worse.
We're much more connected than 94. So
yeah.
So yeah, everybody knows about the George Floyd case.
Everyone already has an answer.
Yeah, it's
they already
impossible.
know the quote unquote the truth for whatever they believe. So getting 12 people to be in a room and say, "Oh, I'm unbiased," and will, a common question that a lawyer will ask is, "Will you make your verdict based off the evidence given to you?"
Yeah,
to avoid jury nullification and to make sure if you don't, you're perjuring yourself. How are you going to find 12 people inside one city? Because it has to be done in a certain city. So to be a jury of Derek Chauvin's peers, to be in the city of Minneapolis, who are you going to find 12 people that are of age and capable enough that will not be biased?
I certainly am glad that I'm not doing jury selection for that case.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
The lawyer both lawyers for the state of Minneapolis and the lawyers for Derek Chauvin or for the Minneapolis Police Department, God forbid, that no one's wanted to be on that case. This ain't the dream team. This ain't gonna be Johnny Cochran and fucking Shapiro and Kardashian, Robert Kardashian,
Dershowitz, all the gang.
Speaking of Dershowitz, he's a named person in the Ghislane Maxwell documents that have come out. That's another thing that is massive that's happened in the last 8 days is that files have been unsealed by a federal judge from previous depositions and interrogations of Ghislane Maxwell and this whole Epstein thing. And Dershowitz was named. What the fuck?
Yeah, they even they went over it in the documentary Filthy Rich. Virginia Giuffre, formerly Virginia Roberts, had named Dershowitz as one of the people and said that he had assaulted her 6 times.
Which is a lot.
And he denied it out and out. These names, though, a lot of very well-known people on this list.
Yeah, of people that have been on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them. And specifically, it would be like name plus 3 girls.
Yeah.
That would be the definition of who was on the flight manifest. This person, that person, and 3 young girls. What's a young girl? How young is a young girl? 12? 20? That's not defined.
No. Even some like oddballs too, like Heidi Klum and Naomi Campbell.
Heidi Klum, yeah.
Those were weird ones.
New York actress / socialite person, popular, pretty, tall, blonde.
Model, but both of them, Campbell and Klum.
She was on the Epstein jet?
Yeah.
Lolita Express? What the fuck?
Yeah, this is like the deeper we get into it, the stranger it becomes.
Yeah, and I even just read an article. I keep thinking maybe I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Babylon Bee or Onion article that Ghislaine Maxwell was being moved throughout the prison to avoid assassins.
Yeah,
To make sure nothing bad happens to her. She's the golden goose.
that's a real concern.
That's a hilarious concern. That the fact that they can't lock somebody down and make sure nobody murders her, or she doesn't kill herself. Like, what the fuck's happening with this person?
That's why I'm pissed that the trial's going to be in 2021. That's too long.
2021. They've already
I thought it was 2021.
they've already confirmed the trial date. Why isn't it next week?
Because that gives plenty of time to kill her.
Fuck. That's
It's like
fucked.
June of 2021. I'm like, fuck.
She's gonna sit in jail for a year.
Yeah.
For an entire year, she's gonna be in one spot that everyone knows where she is.
Yeah, that's a bad move.
It's a Sherlock episode. Come on, you just get some willing participants, and she's fucking dead as a doornail.
Bad move, Ghost Rider.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty bad stuff.
What's gonna be a bigger story? Ghislaine Maxwell gets murdered in prison, or COVID vaccine?
You mean from the media or according to me?
Well, according to us, we know it's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh no, definitely the vaccine.
The
For
vaccine?
Sure.
You think so?
I wish, but that's an excellent segue because hydroxychloroquine works really well, actually.
Oh gosh. So, coronavirus, not great.
No.
Feels John Badman, not good, right? And then 2 weeks ago, these panel of doctors have a talk, and they talk about especially with that one black doctor that Trump tweeted about.
Yeah, how she
Alien DNA and fucking demonic sperm.
Yeah, she put her name behind hydroxychloroquine, and then immediately people start digging up dirt. Like she talks about alien DNA and vaccines, and she talks about demons. And
Whoa. Medical drug that does certain things that can be used for the coronavirus. Also, what the fuck occult shit are you talking about?
yeah, it's like
Fucking
wild.
Singer of Blink-182 aliens level. Like, what is going on?
So that being said, though, from any of the clinical research, though, it shows that because from the Mike Baker interview with Joe Rogan, hydroxychloroquine wasn't effective when the person already had a really bad previous health issue.
Right, so a comorbidity that makes you more likely to die. Also, they found that if you do it when it's early, if you catch it early, it has a wonderful effect.
Mm-hmm.
And many of these doctors who weren't maybe a little off the reservation, a little crazy sounding, they all said that they have their anecdotal evidence of I've had XYZ number of patients in which I gave them a mixture of hydroxychloroquine, erythromycin, Z-Pak, and another medication, and it worked great. And they got better and walked out the door. And one of them had 300 patients.
Yeah.
Where it worked 98% of the time. They had 5 people that did it.
Pretty damn good success rate, if I were to say so.
I'll take that to success rate. That's great. I'll bet some money on that. If that's how it works. So why can't we do that?
Because Orange Man said so. And
Orange
anything
Man's-
Orange Man says is bad.
It's terrible.
You know, it's also hilarious the fact that Nancy Pelosi said that cannabis helps with COVID.
What doesn't weed do, man?
It
Weed
does
is the
everything.
greatest thing in the world. Cancer, appetite, fucking inflammation, the Rona.
But my question is okay, A, she has special interest because she actually has money in legal cannabis.
Does
But-
she?
But yeah, and
Of
a lot.
course she does.
I think it's bullshit though that you could say, oh yeah, hydroxychloroquine, that's a crock of shit. By the way, cannabis, okay, it's great for Corona.
What's better? Would it be marijuana or the vaccine? Because hydroxychloroquine is a fake thing that was man-made as a chemical for a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
That if everyone used hydroxychloroquine, whoever, I think it's generic at this point, but Big Pharma will be making the bank. But also, there's multiple drugs. Resmidivil, what's it called?
I don't remember.
Yeah, by the company Gilead. That's probably $1,000 a dose, and it works well. Why can't we?
Hydroxychloroquine is pretty cheap.
Yeah,
too.
apparently it's $1 or $2 a dose, so
Yeah.
that's cheap as shit. But no, don't use it. It's bad. Was it Idaho or was it Oregon that made it illegal for doctors to prescribe hydroxychloroquine?
I can't remember. I think
Iowa?
it's Oregon.
But somebody did that. They are banning hydroxychloroquine to be prescribed by doctors.
I mean, Governor Sisolak even said at one point, don't take hydroxychloroquine. It's like, so you are that ingrained in your political beliefs that you will purposefully stop a proven way to treat COVID.
Ironically, this happened a year in 2017. That little boy in the UK that had a terminal disease, and the hospital wouldn't let the parents take him to a different country for medication. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was a huge thing. They're crazy. So he pushes, I believe it was an executive order that basically is terminal freedom of choice. If you have a terminal disease, 12 months or less, you can use anything.
Yeah.
Because some things are illegal to use. Not passed by the FDA, can't use them. But if you are probably going to die in a year, you get carte blanche. You want to go anywhere? You want to do something fucking crazy? Is it going to work? Maybe. Run it.
Yeah.
Because
what do you have to lose?
Nothing. You literally are not going to be here in a year. So if it works, it works. But with hydroxychloroquine, don't use that. Even though it's proven to not be, it's not going to kill you. It's not. It's already FDA approved for other diseases. But this one, God forbid you use it, hydroxychloroquine. But wait for the vaccine. Wait for that thing. That'll be better. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's the world we live in.
Yeah,
a world of false equivalence. A world of
false equivalence. Another word in the dictionary.
Oh God. Speaking of which,
what, reality TV?
Oh no, not reality. I mean, it might as well be reality TV. 2020 is reality TV in my eyes. So as far as false equivalence, violence is bad unless group performing violence helps your specific cause.
Ooh, that's a good one right there.
Case in point, on the Senate floor, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas asked Senator Hirono of Hawaii to denounce Antifa, to which she replied, "Let's just all say that extremism is bad in general and that violence is bad in general, and I'm going to leave now."
She just dips?
Yeah, she dipped out.
Didn't say that these people aren't good people because they're committing violence in the name of whatever.
Yeah, what's the shit? Trump has been asked numerous times, "Do you denounce David Duke?" It's
yes,
I've denounced
I don't like him.
Scores of times. Are we done here? Yeah, but it's kind of eerie that you won't denounce Antifa, who definitely damages property, hurts people,
attacks the police.
But why? Because they're your militant wing. You can't go out and do that stuff. You have a name to protect. But if you have this little...
And also, it's illegal.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's illegal. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, the activities that Antifa performs are illegal. So they're almost it's almost like the French Foreign Legion. They just
they outsource their military.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Quite accurate.
Imagine if it were right wing people doing it, and I think Rogan pulled up that argument.
Yeah, if it's the Proud Boys, Gavin McGinnis's little boys, they made this fun little group that would fight fucking people at his speeches. If they were going against, let's say they were burned down Planned Parenthood.
Yeah,
that's a big left wing institution. They're attacking Planned Parenthood. If they're attacking, fucking. I don't know. What would they even fight against? But they did. Let's say they did. And then the president was like, "Oh yeah, they're fine. Don't worry about it. They're not bad. They're not. I assume they're not all bad people.
Yeah.
They're not. Oh, I'm sure that it's not as bad. It was a mostly peaceful protest.
They would get lambasted. Are you kidding
crucified.
me? Yeah,
crucified.
The numbers would be because Steve and I had to dig for the damages done in Portland. The damage, the dollar amount would be front and center, of what they did, of who they hurt. It's oh my God, people have businesses.
State-sponsored doxing. If this person, if you've seen this man, 6'1", blonde hair, dark eyes, oh, it would be everywhere. But no, not this time around. No. Most, at the protest in Oregon at the federal building, that was mostly peaceful.
Oh, they turned largely peaceful after the feds left too. The feds were the instigators.
There was an hour and a half, but it wasn't peaceful. But most of them are mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful. I love that they say it's mostly peaceful, and then the picture is shit on fire. A cop car's on fire. Fucking my favorite story out of this Oregon thing, now that it's kind of been dying down since the Department of Homeland Security has pulled out of Portland for that certain section, is that a young man by the age of 18 was at the protest, and he was specifically was identified by wearing this green vest that apparently his grandmother bought him.
Yeah.
and he was found on video that he threw an actual explosive device at the federal courthouse. So during the entirety of these protests, they were throwing fireworks, they were shooting lasers at their eyes, they were throwing back smoke grenades, they were doing all these things. He actually threw an explosive at the federal courthouse, explodes right in front of the doors, and his grandmother is the one who identifies him as, oh, that's my grandson. He's the one with the vest on, and he's been arrested. Probably gonna face a hilarious list of crimes.
Yeah.
For using an IED on federal police, on the federal government,
on federal property,
on federal property, in an unlawful gathering. It's gonna be huge. So, and I'm waiting, like, even that story of the girl with Etsy shirt that got found.
Oh yeah, that was a great story.
Because she bought a very rare shirt that they were able to find her. All these people, ironically, have concealed their identities to make sure the federal government doesn't find them. And this is the one time where it's like, oh, good, the Patriot Act. Oh, good, thanks, NSA. It's not often that you're gonna think it like that.
2020, our values just keep on changing.
Edward Snowden's probably rolling, fucking. We're like, no, it's not. No, stop. Too much government intervention.
Yeah,
because what's gonna happen to Portland now?
Be a wasteland.
It's just gonna be worse. I don't know.
Certainly not for the better.
Not for the better at all. Yeah, when is Antifa gonna really do something? As if Chaz wasn't something or Oregon wasn't something.
They're only more emboldened because as Antifa is becoming more and more prevalent, which they aren't getting the news coverage, but it's them at the protest doing this violent shit.
It's not anybody else.
So that's on the sort of like militant wing, I'll call it. So on the political wing, though, like the far left is certainly making ground when you're seeing a lot of these incumbent Democrats. A 10-term congressman in Missouri, black male, Congressman Clay, I believe is his last name, was unseated by a woman named Cori Bush, who was big in the Mike Brown protests in Missouri back in the day. This guy supported the Green New Deal.
That's good.
Yeah, he was a relatively progressive guy, but he kind of ran against, when Bush primaried him, he ran as kind of like a, hey, I think that racially dividing people, I think that's not healthy for the party. Axed. She beat him in the primary.
Black lives don't matter?
So this guy was a very liberal guy. He just wasn't liberal enough. And
so that means he's an obviously white supremacist.
As a black male. And also she's going to be, if she wins, the first black female to represent the state of Missouri in Congress.
There you go.
That being said, you're watching, the far left has been in the driver's seat of the Democratic Party for a couple of years now. Yep. It's just the establishment Dems don't, they refuse to acknowledge it.
Oh, it's like they don't exist.
Yeah.
It's like talking about a ghost.
I mean, yeah, dude, Representative Nadler said that it's all a myth. Antifa, that's not a thing.
Wait, Ralph Nadler?
What?
Wait.
Jerry Nadler.
Jerry
of,
Nadler?
New York, yeah.
Yeah. Antifa isn't real?
Yeah, that's what he said.
They are. It's a ghost. It's a story.
It's like,
we
all right,
don't have a Gestapo.
Enough
That's
with
not
these
real.
boogeymen. So, I mean, you're watching that, and it's mainly their message is very divisive. You're watching the far left eat its way closer to the center left. If the Republican establishment was smart, it would be a message of unity as opposed to divisiveness. As in, you're about to lose everything if you don't join us.
Right, we're here to help the people.
Yeah, we're Americans first and foremost. If you want to stop, because the people who signed onto that letter about cancel culture.
Yep.
Yeah. It's hey, why don't you
most of them all very liberal people.
Yeah, they're all very liberal.
Known as being liberal progressive people.
Yeah. None of them are Trumpers by any stretch of the imagination. However, the Republicans, they should be
we also believe in anti-cancel culture. How can we be friends?
Yeah, come to our side and we can hopefully beat this thing together.
Because we both also don't want that thing to happen.
Yeah, we want open discussion. We want you to not be afraid for your professional or even your family safety.
Right, because of a political belief you have.
Yeah, exactly. That's if the Republican establishment was on their game, which they are not.
They haven't for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah, they've been asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, they got lucky with Trump. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Aside from Donald Trump, none of them are actively
What if in 2016 it was Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz
Boy.
and Herman Cain, and then Ben
Carson?
Ben Carson, and all these other and Jeb, and then it wasn't Trump, and it was John Kasich, Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton, and that was it. What would have happened? Hillary might have won.
She would have.
Absolutely.
Also, John Kasich endorsed Joe Biden.
He did?
Yes.
No, I'm not surprised.
So, from my great state of Ohio, or home state of Ohio, fuck you, buddy. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Joe Biden.
Milquetoast piece of shit. Actually, he was a good governor. I'll give Kasich that. He was a good governor, but
maybe stay governor. Maybe just
stay
in your lane, bro.
He should have just accepted being a has-been.
Yeah, just get that governor's mansion and call it a day. Yeah, funny. We come back to Joe. Come back to good old Joe.
Everything comes full
Joey
circle.
B.
Joey B. Still has not chosen his VP yet.
It was just leaked by Politico that it was Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who knows how that's going to work, because that's still a bad option.
It is. It can only damage him. Like, Kamala, the only thing she brings to the table is that she's a black woman. That's it. Other than that,
and in politics,
she and Biden don't like each other. She's called him a racist. She has a very checkered past with the legal system.
Specifically law enforcement.
Yeah, specifically law enforcement. She's divisive. She espouses a lot of big government spending.
Now, here's a question, though. Because, as we know, to be called racist, there's no coming back from that.
Mm-hmm.
You can never atone being racist. So if Kamala has called him racist and now he's not racist, and in fact, she's his VP, how will that work out? How do they make amends when I've already called you the unholiest of unholies?
JK.
Sorry about that. I was wrong.
Speaking of VP picks, I can't believe Mike Baker said he would be more comfortable with Susan Rice. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, you're ex-CIA. Like, she was a big part of Benghazi and why we failed miserably at that, and then tried to dodge the blame. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot get behind that.
I think he likes her because she's an established politician and knows how the game works.
Susan Rice is not an established politician. She
bigger
has
than
never
UN.
run for office.
She's only been appointed.
She's an established government bureaucrat. So no, I definitely he has much more experience in this than me. So I'm basically from the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, she's a hack.
But hey, is there anybody else that you like
from the Democrat? Dude,
yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, obviously, but she's a black sheep. She got the scarlet letter
bad
right on her forehead. Scarlet letter. She cannot be.
I'd say Amy Klobuchar is probably a safer pick.
Yeah, but she's white.
I don't care. See,
no, but they care, Tom.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, whatever. Isn't it racist to choose somebody based on their race? I'm sorry. Did I miss the memo here?
No, as long as they are not white.
Yeah, boo. Well. That's why you're gonna lose. You're just gonna lose.
Go woke, go broke. And that's the crazy thing is that there are good female, because if Bernie and Joe said on CNN, it will be a woman as vice president.
Yeah,
great, cool. We got women in the politics. We got not stupid women either. We got some smart women out there that could be great politicians for that role. Why does it have to be those? Tulsi, great. Veteran, politics,
Technically a woman of color.
Technically she is. She's Hawaiian. She's Polynesian.
Samoan, yeah.
Yeah, she is brown. Woman, smart, young, good. No, can't have her because she was mean to Kamala Harris.
And mean to Hillary Clinton.
And that's the worst. That you can't speak bad blasphemy against God.
Oh, well then, if they want to keep doing this, great. That only helps it only helps the other side, the way that they pigeonhole themselves into make these decisions.
Because the real question is Kamala versus Pence.
Easy, dude. Mike Pence.
Mike Pence is actually a wonderful speaker.
Yeah.
He's a very well-spoken orator.
And we've noticed that Harris is not super versatile on the debate stage.
No, she knows how to say as a woman of color.
Yeah, she has certain areas that she preps for, but if she gets something out of left field like what Tulsi did, she's got no response.
She has no quick. She's not quick on the feet. She doesn't have happy feet.
Whereas Mike Pence can say super controversial shit, and nobody talks about it because he's very good at packaging it.
Yeah, you can get it right with a good bow, and it looks real great. And it might have been fucked up actually. It might not have actually been that great, but it sounded real good. Yeah, it's like how Obama spoke. Obama's very good. He's an amazing,
fantastic speaker. Yeah,
one of the best. So you're gonna go against someone who's a very good, well-spoken orator. Okay,
good
fun with that. I'm still waiting for Joe Rogan to be a moderator. Like we need to
we
get
could
out
only
of
hope.
media. Obviously, these companies spend millions of dollars to make sure that these presidential debates are on their channel. Cool, but you got fucking wackos asking these
They
questions.
suck.
That these questions are fucking retarded.
Yeah, why can't we have like people who
Not
are
indicative of what a president would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, they keep asking about policy. He doesn't do shit about policy. He doesn't, Obamacare was cool because it had Obama's name in it, but Obama didn't write Obamacare.
Mm-mm.
Obama didn't write fucking tax law. Obama didn't go through tax law.
No.
Obama's president. Joe Biden won't be doing any new health care.
Probably won't be doing anything.
No. Yeah, he might be dead. Who knows?
Yeah.
If he dies mysteriously, and then Kamala Harris is the new president. First black woman of, yeah, it'd be great. But who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, 2020. Who
2020,
knows? That's our
baby.
year slogan.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salute. Anyway, considering things change every single day, check back in with us anytime something crazy happens.
Yeah, our next episode will be back to our normal schedule on Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah, it was a weird week for us.
Weird week, so we're bringing it in here. Demagogue News, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah.
Keep your head on that swivel.